Hello everyone, I'm Drew Goldfarb. Welcome to this edition of Betting for the Cycle, where we're giving you 4 picks for upcoming baseball games, matchups, or prop bets, and trying to go 4 for 4 in order to bet for the cycle. Now, if you don't need a refresher on the rules, feel free to jump ahead to the 50-second mark of this video. That's where things really get going. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time, here's how this works. I'm going to pose 4 potential wagers or daily fantasy comparisons. Our experts and I will each give you our picks and rank them based on how confident we are in the outcome, from a single to a double, triple, and the most confident pick, of course, being the home run, giving us a chance at betting for the cycle. Our individual stats have been tracked all season long. We're nearing the end of that season. You're going to see those stats pop up on the screen as we start making our picks for the week. As always, I'm joined by Taylor Smith and Jim Baviglia. Guys, let's start at the bottom of the MLB standings this week. We got a series pick. The Baltimore Orioles and Seattle Mariners meet for 3 games in Maryland this weekend with nothing but pride on the line. Taylor, which team picks up the late season series win?
This is a pretty cruel one. I'm making it my single because I don't trust either team to do anything well. I'm going to take Seattle. I think on the balance of the 3 games, the pitching matchups favor them slightly. They have Felix Hernandez on Friday, who was extremely washed. Justice Sheffield on Saturday and Marco Gonzalez on Sunday. The Orioles have Asher Wojciechowski, John Means, and Chandler Shepard. I think Gonzalez is a decent pitcher that should be able to handle the Orioles. I think Sheffield is at least a somewhat decent prospect going forward, obviously coming over from the Yankees. Like I said, I don't feel good about it. It makes me ill, but I'm taking Seattle as my single.
Jim?
Yeah, I'm taking Seattle, but I'm really going to be ill because I'm taking it as my home run. We have a couple single game or quasi-single game picks coming up, and I always feel a little bit leery about making them confidence picks. And I like the pitching matchups other than Means, who has been decent for the Orioles, but Chandler Shepard, it sounds like a singer-songwriter. Not a starting pitcher in the major leagues. Seattle, much better run differential, much better record, quite frankly, and playing at home, the Orioles have been rough on the road. And so I just think not to overthink this one. It seems like everything's pointing in Seattle's direction. So I'm going to go with the Mariners. I'm going to make it my home run.
I'm going to make it unanimous on the Mariners, and I'm going to agree with Taylor on the confidence level. It's got to just be a single for me. It appears that this is going to be the last season for Felix Hernandez in Seattle. The Mariners have a big promotion for his home start on the 26th with a Thanks 34 t-shirt giveaway, some other stuff going on too. He's going to get the start Friday in Baltimore against Asher Wojciechowski. Saturday is Justice Sheffield against John Means. Sunday's pitching matchup, Marco Gonzalez against Dylan Bundy. In a series where either team sent those 3 to the mound against a good opponent, I'd take their opponent and make the pick a home run. Instead, I'm going to lean towards Seattle on Sunday. I consider the other 2 games close enough to toss-ups. The M's score more runs per game than the O's. They allow fewer runs per game than Baltimore as well. So I'm going to take the Mariners to win the series. Going to make it my single. And a good point, Baltimore is the road team. They're terrible on the road. They're terrible at home, but they're terribler on the road. So picking against Baltimore as the road team in this case makes some sense. For question 2, let's do another series pick. Maybe towards the opposite side of the standings here. Boston Red Sox on the verge of mathematical elimination from postseason contention. This weekend, they'll face the Tampa Bay Rays in a 3-game set in St. Petersburg, Florida. Rays currently holding on to one of the American League's wildcard spots, and a series win for Tampa would be the final dagger on Boston's season. Jim, which team wins this series this weekend?
I feel a little bit better about this one. If the Red Sox were indeed eliminated, then you feel like, okay, they're kind of going to go into the tank. They lost a tough one last night to San Francisco that, if they harbored any hopes, that really put a dagger in it, as you mentioned. The Rays have a lot to play for. They're at home. The Red Sox, one of the starting pitchers is kind of up in the air, and the other 2, Rick Porcello, Nate Eovaldi, who neither one of them have been any great shakes this year. The Rays have Charlie Morton. They have Brian Yarbrough, who's been good. They have Tyler Glasnow, who's not up to a full pitch count yet, but still should give them a decent start. So, like I said, I feel super confident. This would have been my home run if the Red Sox were completely eliminated. As it is, I could see them still fighting hard, but I still think it's the Rays, and I'm going to make it my triple.
I'm going to take the Rays, and I am going to make it my home run. By the time Saturday and Sunday roll around, likely that only Tampa Bay is playing for anything. As we sit here recording this, the Red Sox 3 games away from being eliminated from playoff contention. Again, after that brutal loss yesterday. The Rays have taken 9 out of 15 from the Sox this season. All 3 pitching matchups favor Tampa. I'm as confident in this pick as I am in any this week, so I'm going to take the Rays to win the series against the Red Sox. It's going to be my home run for the week. Taylor, are you also taking Tampa Bay, and how confident are you in this pick?
Yep, we are both 3 for 3 here, I guess. Tampa Bay at home, like Jim said, pitching matchups favor the Rays. Tyler Glasnow pitching, the first few innings of the game, but they're building him up in the playoffs. Boston is also, JD Martinez left the game last night. Mookie Betts was out of the lineup. He's been banged up. So in addition to possibly just being eliminated, they're also injury riddled right now. So everything's pointing to Tampa Bay. I'm making it my triple like Jim did. I've been horrible at series picks, but at least you guys are on this sinking ship with me this time.
Yep, and this is all for one, one for all kind of thing, I guess. It's just all down with the ship here. Anyway, pick number 3, we're looking long-term. One final long-term pick for the season, even though there's not much season left to go. As of this recording, the Houston Astros have 2 pitchers chasing 300 strikeouts for the year. Gerrit Cole goes tonight for the Stros. He currently sits at 292 on his K count for the year. Justin Verlander pitched last night for Houston, moving his season total to 283. The only pair of teammates in the modern era to record 300 strikeouts during the same season was Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling with Arizona back in 2002. Cole and Verlander are likely to earn 2 more starts apiece during the season. So, will they both reach 300 Ks? I'm up first, and I've got to go with the yes. I'm going to make this my triple. Would have made it my home run if Verlander had struck out a couple of more batters last night, but a triple for me for this one. Cole just 8 Ks away from 300. Seems safe to say it's a lock, barring a disaster for Houston moving into the playoffs. After last night's 8K performance, Verlander now just 17 strikeouts shy of 300 for the year. In 13 starts, there is only one instance since the All-Star break where Verlander has combined for fewer than 17 Ks over the course of back-to-back starts. He's done it only one time where he has not reached that plateau. He's expected to start against the Angels in Houston on Sunday, then again against the Angels in Southern California next Friday. Angels without Mike Trout, without Shohei Ohtani, should be a much weaker lineup even than the Angels would typically put forward. My only real concern is if Houston opts to either skip Verlander in that final start to rest him for the playoffs, or if they limit him to so few innings that he can't complete the feat. Regardless, taking the yes, making it my triple. Taylor, we know you're a Houston guy. What do you say?
Yeah, I think it has to be yes as well. I share the same kind of qualms about potentially limiting him in the last couple starts, but they are still battling for home field with New York in the AL and the Dodgers for potential home World Series home field. So we do still have something to play for, even if they do have the division locked up, which they will. I just think it has to be yes. Like you said, the Angels are watered down. They don't strike out a ton to begin with, which is a little bit of a concern, but he has struck out 13 of them in about 13 innings so far this season. And like you said, no Mike Trout, obviously. So I'm confident he'll get it done. Obviously, Gerrit Cole will probably tonight. So making it my home run on the yes.
Jim, we're 8 for 8. We've agreed on every pick to this point. Are you making it 9 for 9?
I'm going to make it 9 for 9. I don't have the same confidence. I'm going to make it a double. Same kind of concerns, if they do get to a point where it doesn't mean that much, how hard do they push him? And the interesting thing is that even without Ohtani and Trout, in one way it works well for Verlander because, he's probably going to go deeper in the game because the Angels just aren't that threatening. But they're 2 strikeout guys, really, when you look at it. So you take them out of the lineup, more kind of punch and Judy hitters, and the Angels are the 3rd hardest team to strike out this year. He averages about 8.8 strikeouts per game over the year, so that would put him over 17 if he just stays on his average. Just a little bit concerned, but they want him to get it, I'm sure, and he wants to get it. So I think there'll be motivation. I think he could go out and have a big game the first game of the 2 and really make it easy the second game. So I'm not overconfident about it, but I like them both to get it, and I'm going to make it my double.
Last one to complete the cycle. Last chance for us to deviate from each other with our picks. We turn to daily fantasy. Chicago Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals meet for a 4-game series this weekend at Wrigley Field as the Cubbies try to remain in the NL Central title picture and strengthen their positioning in the NL wildcard race. Jack Flaherty goes for the Cards on Thursday in the series opener. Yu Darvish pitching for the Cubs on Sunday in the series finale. So Taylor, if you're picking one of these pitchers this weekend, who are you taking in daily fantasy?
I think they're both great. This is a really comparable matchup. Flaherty is at 29.5% strikeout rate on the season. That's over 33% since the start of July. Darvish was walking everyone back at the beginning of the season. He seems to have fixed that issue. He's at 31% strikeouts on the season. The Cardinals, as a lineup against right-handed pitching, have a 20.4% strikeout rate. The Cubs are at 21.3%, so they're pretty even. But the Cubs are down Javi Baez right now. Anthony Rizzo is also dealing with an injury, so there's a chance the lineup is at least a little bit watered down for the Cubs. I'm leaning Flaherty. I don't love it. It's my double, just because I don't trust the Mariners either. So Jack for me.
Jim?
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup because Taylor mentioned these guys have both had complete turnarounds from the first half to the second half. Flaherty, for the first half, everybody's like, what's wrong with Flaherty? And since, I think, July or whatever it's been, he's been the best pitcher in baseball, really. And Taylor mentioned Darvish all of a sudden found his control. Their last starts, both were banged up a little bit. The Reds beat Darvish last night. The Punisher got him with a home run in the first inning. And then Flaherty lost his last start as well. They've both been just so-so against the opponent, although Flaherty was real good against the Cubs the last time. So I like Flaherty, but it's single game and very tight. So I'm going to go with Flaherty. I'm keeping it unanimous still, but I'm going to make my single.
For the first time in the history of this show, we are going to be unanimous from start to finish. It's worth noting when it comes to the lineup that Flaherty will face, as Taylor was mentioning, Anthony Rizzo out for the Cubs for at least a week, possibly a good bit longer, which could get into some postseason issues there. Jack Flaherty's earned wins in 5 of his last 7 starts. The other games came in losses to Milwaukee. He blanked the Cubs in a 9-strikeout effort on August 1st, though it was the first time against Chicago that he's made it past the 6th inning this season. In 4 games against the Cubs, he's K'd 26 batters in 21 1/3. His whip for the season also a little bit better than Darvish's, not dramatically so. Yu Darvish has faced the Redbirds 3 times this year, posting an 0-1 record. He struck out 19 batters in 16 innings of work, though he's also issued 8 walks in those games. I've got to take Flaherty here, especially with Rizzo injured. And I am also, just like Taylor, making it my double for the week. So we have 12 picks, 4 things to pick on. We are identical straight through. So if there's a golden sombrero coming out this week, we're all getting it. If there's a cycle to be had, we are all getting it. So that's going to be an interesting one to see. We've always gotten to the point where I've broken the tie a couple times at the very end there, but unanimous across 4 picks. Something else that we're pretty unanimous in, although I've changed for the National League here, our World Series picks. I've got Atlanta plus 420 to win the National League. Houston, where we're unanimous, at plus 170 to win the American League. At the moment, the Braves plus 200, Astros minus 130. So I'm going to stick with what I've got. Way too late to jump onto any other bandwagon at this point, especially the Dodgers, who are at minus 140. So I'm going to stick with Atlanta's value where I've got them. Taylor, you locked the Astros in early at plus 180, the Dodgers at plus 170. So like I said, Houston minus 130, LA minus 140. Any chance that you're going to abandon ship and make any change? Because we've only got one more show after this during the regular season. So it's now, then, or never.
Yeah, I want to say the one time I actually did deviate to break things up was in that stupid makeup game for the Royals against the Red Sox where they lost after like 7 minutes of play. I'm still pissed about it, but I'm not changing from Houston or LA.
Jim, are you going to make any changes here? You got the Dodgers and the Astros plus 170 on LA, plus 150 on Houston.
Yeah, I wish the Dodgers were a little bit healthier, but I think they get healthy by the start of the playoffs. And the Astros just got Carlos Correa back. The Yankees, the one threat to the Astros, and it seems like the Yankees take one step forward. They get guys back, and then they get guys hurt. I mean, Dave Betances pitched 2 batters last night and tore his Achilles, which is just wild. So I feel pretty confident with those 2 teams, so I'm going to stick right where I am.
And that'll do it for this week's very agreeable edition of Betting for the Cycle. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Odds On Favorites YouTube channel, and check back next week where we'll show you the stats of how we did and give you our latest picks. For Jim Avili and Taylor Smith, I'm Drew Goldfarb. Thanks for watching. See you next time.